Hello, hello. Today's topic is how can I feel more connected with my partner? And I am just going to share this really quick in a couple of groups, and then I'll get right into it. Hang on. Okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. Okay, so I might be able to multitask while I'm posting. So I did a poll, and I want to thank everyone who responded to the poll. I was asking people what's the number one thing they want to improve in their relationship. And the option that most people chose was feeling more connected with their partner. So I'm going to address that today and support you in how you can feel more connected with your partner. So I've done the sharing, and I can now focus completely on what I want to share with you. How can you feel more connected with your partner? I am Shauna White, Heartfelt Intimacy Coach, and I help people to unlock deeper intimacy in their relationship with their partner, heartfelt intimacy that flows naturally. And feeling more connected is a broad topic. I mean, it's a very specific feeling. When we don't feel connected, that's a very specific feeling, actually. But what might be causing it is very broad. Excuse me. But I want to share a little bit with you about where I'm coming from with what I'm going to share with you today. So first, let me say that I spent many years feeling very stressed about relationship. I felt very unseen. I felt like I always didn't feel connected, actually, because I always felt like I was stuck behind a glass. Like I couldn't feel the depth of intimacy that I craved. I didn't feel seen. And really, I was stuck in like people pleasing and stuck in my head and stuck feeling self-conscious. And it took me a really long time to solve that problem. What broke me out of that was finding how to connect with my sacred heart, to connect with the energy of love, the spiritual energy of love in the core of my being as the way I come to relationship. And when I discovered how to do that, there's a long story to the moment of discovery for that, but I don't want to go into the big long story right now. But when I discovered that I had been overlooking my sacred heart, it was like either alignment inside myself or deeply connected with the other person, or alignment. It was always back and forth. I could never have connection with myself and connection with my partner at the same time. So when I found how to actually connect with that spiritual energy of love as how I come to the relationship, I finally started to discover a whole new skill set of how I could do both of those things at the same time. So this is why I help people with heartfelt intimacy. I mean it in the deepest sense of the word. Heartfelt, meaning that you can feel completely deeply connected with yourself. And when you come to connection with your partner that way, it changes everything. It lifts you out of the dynamics of compromise, lifts you out of the dynamics of push and pull, trying to feel connected with your partner, and then on the other hand, maintain your boundaries or your alignment or whatever the words are that you've learned to use that point to how you feel right in yourself at the same time as you try to connect with your partner. So that's what my life journey has led me to. And I also want to say that I am in now 5 years in a long distance relationship, both of those things. And feeling connected when we're very far apart is it's an art form. And so I am also drawing on my experience from that, in what I share with you today. Because I feel like the distance is just an exacerbation of what people experience in-person relationships. It just makes it that much worse because you just have a very limited way of communicating with each other. But the things that come up in my relationship that create a sense of space that we continually renew, to close that space and to come and to connect with each other, those things also come up in person. It doesn't matter if you're long distance or in person, the same issues come up. And it's an art form to maintain connection. And after 5 years with this wonderful man, we commented not too long ago how our relationship still feels fresh and new. And that is a beautiful accomplishment from skilled and artistic, I guess I want to say, renewal of intimacy. So let's get into how you can feel more connected with your partner. So feeling connected is, like I said in the beginning, it's a very broad topic. I mean, the reasons why you might feel a loss of connection or less connection can be broad ranging. But let's kind of gather our focus in this topic by looking at connection as an energetic feeling. What does it feel like to feel connected with your partner? It feels like you feel seen, and you feel, I hope you feel an energy of like a warmth with your partner, that there's joy also, but there's this kind of like atmosphere of being able to feel your partner, and you feel like your partner can feel you, like the communication's making sense and you feel seen, right? So let's look at what I'm curious, how do you feel the energy of that? So for me, it feels like a warm smile, like the energy of a warm smile. It's just this atmosphere. And my hands are right here. It's kind of an atmosphere around my heart, my torso, that I feel like I'm feeling my partner in that place. So what is it that causes that beautiful atmosphere of joyful warmth and feeling seen to collapse, to fade, to dissipate, to become exhausted, to leak away? What makes that energy go away, right? Because that's what we need to address when we want to feel more connected with our partner. So one thing that can cause this, and I'm going to ask for your participation because I would love to know, there are so many reasons for why we could feel not connected, and I would like to know which ones you relate to in your personal experience. So I'm going to ask you to put some hashtag words in the comments, and I would love if you play along and just let me know what you're experiencing. Then I can feel more connected with you. I can experience, through this digital asynchronous portal, what I can feel you. And the more I can feel you, the more I can serve you and support you. So that's why I'm inviting your participation. Okay. So one thing that can cause that energy of connection to be dissipated or to become eclipsed or to just go missing is when we're busy. Being busy or being focused on other kinds of projects can cause our energy to change so that we don't actually, our energy is just in a different place for connection, for that warm, yummy feeling. We're not present enough for it because our energy is focused someplace else. So being busy can go two ways. One way, it could be that you're focused on something else, and so your energy now has a more mental quality. Your thoughts are filled up with the thing that you're thinking about, that you're trying to accomplish, and that's okay. That's part of um, life on Earth and getting things done, and having goals and achieving goals. It's okay for your energy to focus on something else, but you need to be able to, if you want to create more connection with your partner, you're finding that connection with your partner is suffering. Both of you need to be able to turn off the focus on other things and to create the space to focus on being with each other. So this is a very interesting thing. This is something that me and my sweetheart are exploring and working on together, because we tried, one way of doing that is that you can plan, and you don't have to plan what you're going to do. You just plan when you're going to be together. And I really liked it, because I have a lot of things that I'm working on, and I really put my energy into whatever it is that I'm focusing on. So to have a specific time that I was just going to focus on being with him really allowed me to get my energy in a place. It wasn't even I was thinking about getting my energy ready, but just knowing that I was going to be spending time with him at this particular time naturally prepared my energy for connection with him. It was foiled, though, because he had something come up, and he's often had something come up when we plan to be together. So we're trying flow now, and we're going to see how that goes. But so being busy can cause you to put your energy into a quality that's just not available for connection. So one of the ways you can counter that, like I said, is to possibly you can plan time to be together. Another way that, and actually I'm going to say, if you relate to that, can you just put #busy in the comments? So then another way that being busy can interfere is if we're so busy that we get depleted. And so your energy or your partner's energy, having energy for connection, you need to have energy for being present. And so if you don't have energy for being present because you're so busy that you feel exhausted, that's going to interfere with your ability to create connection with your partner, that atmosphere of warm, joyful connection with your partner. So if that's what's going on, then you're going to need to replenish. You're going to need downtime and to replenish so that you start to fill up your coffers again. And then when you fill up your coffers, you have that energetic fullness in yourself to share with your partner. And that's what brings that feeling of connection, or sets the stage for that feeling of connection to be reignited. So if you relate to that, then put #depleted in the comments, please. And so here's another thing, and this can be really subtle. Another thing that will prevent connection or cause connection to dissolve, disappear, like go away, is if you don't honor yourself. And I used to do this a lot, because for me, I felt like the way to be loved is to always do what other people will approve of me for. That will I had the people pleasing. I had a big dose of people pleasing in my personality. And I felt like I had to do what other people wanted me to do in order to be lovable. And so I would do things that would put me out of balance. I would do things that didn't actually feel totally natural and balanced and in my stride to do. And I thought that I was really investing in love by doing that, by sacrificing myself and putting myself out of balance for the people that I care about. These were multiple different kinds of really important love relationships, not just romantic partnership relationships. But the problem with that is that then we don't feel joy inside ourselves, and that coffer of energy that we need to be full with in order to show up to create the conditions for connection, that gets depleted if we go out of balance with ourselves like that. And then we can get resentful instead. And particularly, I'll tell you what my thing was, was that I felt like I'm going to sacrifice myself and give myself into the relationship and give, nurture, and my partner's going to do the same thing. And then when my partner didn't do the same thing, I was really pissed. I was like, what? I sacrificed so much. But the secret is actually not to sacrifice. The secret is it's okay to give, right? And maybe sacrifice looks like giving. But the point is, it's really, really important to pay attention to how to honor yourself. So some of the things that make it harder for us to honor ourselves is the subconscious programs that we have, like I had, the people pleasing, where I just felt compelled to do things for other people. And I didn't even know I was putting myself out of balance because that was my subconscious need to be loved acting out. So waking up to our subconscious programs is sometimes something that we need to do in order to be able to walk in balance in ourselves in the way that we connect with our partner in our relationship. So if you can recognize that part of what's influencing the condition, part of what is making it so that you don't have as much connection as you want to with your partner is because you get tricked into not honoring yourself, tricked by your subconscious, I'm assuming. Or maybe you get tricked by your partner, but most likely you get tricked like I did by your subconscious into not honoring yourself. And that just exhausts your joy. It lets all the air out of the balloon inside. If you relate to that, then put #self in the comments, please, and share that so that I know what you're feeling and I know more how to serve you, not just in this video, but in the next video too, because I want to keep serving you. Okay. So another thing that can block connection. So if you want more connection, maybe what's blocking connection is unresolved misunderstandings. Sometimes we think that we can have a misunderstanding with somebody who's important to us, and we can just sweep it under the rug. We can just let it go by the... we'll just get past the emotions and we won't talk about it. And even if it's just a tiny little thing, like somebody said something, it's, I had a misunderstanding just yesterday with someone who is an important person in my life. It wasn't my sweetheart. It was somebody else. And I thought that I wanted to take some time to get through my, journal about my thoughts about it and really get clear before I talk to him. But I also was going to pick up some tomato plants from him to plant in my garden. And I felt like I couldn't see myself actually having a conversation with him about picking up the tomato plants before I cleared up the other misunderstanding, because my energy wasn't relaxed. And that's so I ended up, I spent some time thinking about it, and I called him and cleared up the misunderstanding. And I have so much gratitude actually for how easy the conversation was to clear up that misunderstanding, and how easy the energy feels afterward. When I have a misunderstanding, so I don't know about you, but when I have a misunderstanding with somebody, and particularly the closer they are to me, and particularly if I have a misunderstanding with my sweetheart, my energy inside gets a little tense and twisted up. And I can't connect around that twisted, tense feeling. I can't set it aside. It's there. The depth of intimacy that has become natural for me requires that the breeze can flow through all the corners and all the chambers inside. And so if I have a misunderstanding with somebody, if I have a misunderstanding with my sweetheart, I have to clear that up, because it creates this little spot of stuck energy, and that stuck energy will be in the way of feeling connected. So if you have any kind of misunderstanding, maybe your partner said something as a joke yesterday and something about it landed with you the wrong way. That could be blocking connection today, because maybe you felt like, oh, it's just a joke, so I'm not supposed to question it. If I ask him a question about what he meant by the joke, then I'm going to seem to, I'm going to seem like a prude, or I'm going to seem like I'm uptight. But that misunderstanding inside you, or that lack of understanding of where he was coming from, could be the whole reason that you don't feel connected today, even if you're able to stop thinking about it. But it's still in the back of your mind somewhere. So clearing up misunderstandings is really a prerequisite for keeping that feeling of connection flowing. So if you feel like an unresolved misunderstanding is part of the recipe, or maybe the whole thing of what is blocking connection for you in your relationship right now, then put #misunderstanding in the comments, please, and let me know. I would love to know what you're experiencing. Okay, so the next thing that might be blocking the energy of connection is a judgment. And that judgment could be in your partner's mind, or it could be in your mind. So it could be the tiniest thing. You could be like, I don't like the sounds he makes when he chews. And that kind of a critical thought in your mind has a sound, it has a feeling, it has an energy, and that energy's got a twang to it. With the energy of connection doesn't have a twang. The energy of connection feels very round and beautiful. And so if we have thoughts that we're indulging in that have a twang to them, judgments, that twang, that's going to pollute the music chamber inside our being, and that's going to block connection. So if you have a judgment about your partner, maybe you need to ask them a question to help you resolve the judgment. If there's something about them you don't understand, that you're solving the lack of understanding by coming up with an idea about them, and that's the judgment, then maybe you need to ask them a question. Or maybe you need to, another way of resolving a judgment is getting some perspective. So someone close to me, I'm not going to say who it is because it's just not nice to say who it is, but someone close to me sometimes drops a little bit of food now and then when serving their plate, whatever, the bowl's not close enough. And I have had twang thoughts about that. I'm like, I don't find that appealing. But, so one night happened to me. I dropped a piece of lettuce on the way to serving myself salad. And I was like, oh, look, it happens. And so I was able to soften my own twang thoughts about this person by recognizing that, it's not specific to them. This, maybe they are a little less careful than I am, but I was able to find the perspective to have that human compassion instead of that twang thought that was interfering with my ability to relax into a state of softness where connection can be experienced, right? So if your partner has a judgment and they're speaking some twang into the air, then maybe you can ask them a question softly, if possible, to help them get past that judgment. So you can find the softness again that allows that warm connection feeling to grow. So if you feel like judgment is one of the ingredients or the top ingredient that's messing with your ability to feel more connected with your partner, put #judgment in the comments, please. Okay. And then I got one more for you. So this one is a big one. This one is a big one. So do you feel like when you try to express your needs to your partner and all you really want, all your entire intention is just to connect with your partner? That's all you really want. But your partner gets defensive instead. So it actually gets worse. So you're trying to figure out how to create more connection with your partner, and you are expressing your needs for more connection because you're just trying to, I don't know, broach the topic, try to figure out how to make this work. And you're appealing to them to collaborate with you on how to make this work. But what ends up happening is your partner gets defensive, or maybe they shut down. Have you experienced this? This is very, very common. If you've experienced this, put hashtag needs in the comments. And it's, 2%, it's 2% possible that your partner is having some kind of a crazy reaction. That's completely their issue. But most of the time, when it comes to this, most of the time, there is a quality to your communication, and you might be on the receiving end of this too, where maybe your partner is expressing his needs or her needs, your partner's needs, to you, and you're getting a little bit tweaked. That what happens so often in this kind of communication is that there's an energy that creates a little twang or a little push, and your partner can't hear it, or maybe you can't hear it. It just engenders the wrong response. They feel like they're being controlled. They feel like they're being pressured. And if you can shift that energy, you can transform your whole communication dynamic around connection and needs. It's really powerful, and it can happen really fast. So this particular topic is a deep specialty that I help people with. And I want to offer you a free training. If this is something that you're experiencing in your relationship and you would like a free training on specifically just this issue, then put hashtag training in the comments, and I will connect you with a link to that training. So that's my offer for you today. And sorry, I got a little thing in my throat. So that's a lot of reasons of things that could be blocking connection. And I hope that you have found this helpful. And certainly if you're experiencing the needs issue where your partner can't hear when you express your needs, definitely take me up on this training, because I love to help people with this, because it's really fun. It's really fun to watch the transformation as you start to understand how you can shift things in a subtle level that shifts your energy so that you can actually communicate with your partner, communicate your needs, be heard, and start to build heartfelt connection with your partner again. Alrighty. So that is my sharing with you about how you can create more connection with your partner. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you benefited. And again, put hashtag training in the comments if you would like the free training about how you can express your needs with your partner in a way that they can hear you and that you can start to build connection again. All right. Have a great day. Take care.